Well, he's been a superstar, but the question everyone wants answered is, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? The Western Bulldogs, they didn't sack him a few weeks ago when he wrote the controversial article about gay footballers. They didn't sack him after that. They let it all slide and tried to work it all out. What's happened since? Because something's obviously happened since. We need to find out exactly what's happened since. What was the straw that broke the camel's back? David Smorgan, the president of the Bulldogs, is on the show tonight. Hopefully he'll answer that question.
Our 3AW Sports reporter Nick Butler was at the press conference. Nick, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dan. What a story, eh? What a story.
Well, this breach of confidential matters, I think partly this could run back in my head to Sam Newman on the Footy Show, when Sam knew about the players group sitting down with Akermanis and having that confidential grilling, which Sam says he overheard Akermanis talking about at some function. But I think that's probably where some of this is coming from.
Oh, quite right, Darren. I mean, Rodney Ed was asked that question. It was the final question of the press conference, and he said, look, there's certain things that have been documented that the media are aware of, but there's some incidences of letting things out that should remain behind closed doors that we don't even know about. Jason does have a book coming due to be released in the next few months, and there's been a lot of talk that he's made some disparaging remarks about players in that book. Whether that's got something to do with it. But leaking confidential matters outside the club is a theme that just kept coming up in that press conference, and breaching the core values, and the club as a whole didn't want its finals campaign derailed.
I wonder if it had been a player kicking 8 goals a game if they'd have worried too much about his breach of confidentiality.
Well, that's a fair point, Darren, isn't it? I mean, when you're playing at Sandringham and not getting a spot in the side, you're a bit less forgiving. I mean, we saw that with Ben Cousins. He was making headlines and getting up to all sorts of mischief when he was winning Brownlow medals. As soon as you become an also-ran, well, these things become far bigger issues. But look, you're quite right. He's lost a bit of pace, and he's not the player he was, and the club wasn't going to tolerate him anymore. But look, it's so... I was down at the Whitten Oval probably 4 or 5 hours ago at training, where Rodney Eade said that Jason Akermanis was a chance to come into the side on Sunday. So this really is a breaking story. There was a meeting at 1 o'clock where players, coaches and the board were involved. They were all part of this decision, and it was unanimous that the contract was to be terminated. The
thing is, he must have rubbed A, the coach, and B, more importantly in some ways, his fellow players the wrong way, and they must have thought, you're a lone wolf, we don't want you anymore.
That's it. Well, they spoke about that. Rodney Eade said trust is so important in a footy club, especially a successful one. He said not everyone has to be best friends. You don't have to be buddies with everyone, but you need trust and you need respect. And as when you read between the lines, that's what Jason Akermanis has breached, and they're not willing to go any further with him into a finals campaign. And they sound like cliches, but trust in a footy club is pretty important.
It's with disappointment that today I announce the termination of Jason Akermanis' contract with the Western Bulldogs. This was a unanimous decision by the club in the best interest of the Western Bulldogs Football Club. Jason has been a very good player for our club since he arrived here in 2007. But recent events have made the relationship between Jason and the Western Bulldogs untenable. We recognise when we recruited Jason that he was a unique individual with talent. Outside of his performances and his significant on-the-field endeavours for the club, Jason's profile provided our club with a presence in the media that undoubtedly has been beneficial for the Western Bulldogs. However, it's also the case that over the last 18 months, Jason has been involved in a number of incidents which are confidential matters of the inner sanctum, were leaked out, and players have been subjected to inappropriate disclosures on their behalf outside the club. In most cases, Jason has admitted these breaches and sought to remedy his behaviour, but the breaches have continued. We are in a serious campaign as we head towards the finals in 2010, and it's fundamental to success in that campaign that all players, coaches and all staff have complete confidence in each other that what is said in the room stays in the room. We believe that we as a club have bent over backwards to work with Jason to rectify these issues. He's been counselled, he's received written warnings, and there's been a number of other meetings where he's been given the opportunity to correct his behaviour. Our core values are not going to be distracted and deviated from anyone involved at the Western Bulldogs. For a long time, we have been endeavouring to put team over individual. and we won't tolerate behaviour that distracts and deviates from our core values. It's our sincere hope that the three-time premiership player with the Brisbane Lions and Brownlow medalist, Jason Akermanis, will be remembered as one of the AFL's best and greatest players. I should point out that as a gesture of good faith, the club will be paying out the balance of Jason's contract in full. And we wish Jason and his family all the best for the future.
Well, that'll make his wife happy, I suppose, because I saw his column today in the Herald Sun in which he asked, what are you looking forward to most when I leave football? And she says, a normal weekend, not having to worry about nutritional makeup of every meal that I cook. But on a serious note, what has he actually done so wrong that's made him absolutely persona non grata at the club? I mean, he can be a loudmouth and he can do these things and he is controversial, but what's put him so offside that all his teammates now don't want him?
Oh, he just refuses to cooperate, I guess, Darren, in a team environment, and that's the main thing. I mean, every time you hear him speak, it's about himself and it's not the team. And like the last couple of weeks in the VFL, I'm ready to play. I need to play. They should play me now. Well, it's not about him. It's about the team. And I just reckon, reading between the lines, Darren, that his teammates have got fed up with that sort of attitude, that sort of personal, single sort of minded attitude rather than the team environment that they've tried to create. There's no doubt that he has upset the balance of the mental makeup of that team, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, chap, let's leave it at that and we'll talk later as things transpire.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you. Brian Taylor, for a 3AW Course football commentator.